Getting new young teachers in here in the district and offering the older teachers a chance to move on with their careers and find something else for them. Thank you.
I am against teacher incentive retirements. I am against it. I voted against it when it was brought up to us a while ago and when I was on the board. And I'll tell you the reasons why. Number one, we have some excellent teachers in our school system who are eligible for retirement, who do not want to leave. And when you offer this a retirement incentive and then you put binders on it, for example, you need to have at least 10 teachers go. And say you have 6 that really do want to go and some that do not want to. Now you're forcing out some of our good quality teachers. We've had some excellent math, science, English teachers in the high school, which are where a lot of our senior teachers are, and the same in the elementary school. And you are forcing them to choose between making it available for the rest of the teachers that want to retire or to stay. I believe teachers will retire when they want to retire. I do not believe that we have the extra money in hand right now. I do understand that it is a savings. Eventually it will be a savings, but we don't have the extra money right now to offer the incentives. I believe teachers will retire when they want to, and I do not want to see people being forced out just to take the retirement incentives so that enough teachers can have the retirement incentives to leave.
This question is for Mrs. Kenzie. Where can one get a copy of the packets that were distributed at the coffee hours? Why would people have to look into the accuracy and truthfulness of the information?
Well, since I was never at a coffee meeting, I'm not sure. But I'm sure if you want to call my phone number, I will see if I can get information for you of what was handed out at one.
This is for everyone. How would you describe your support group? 1, concerned about educational quality, or 2, concerned about their taxes?
I'll go first. My support group, I would have to say that I am a very unique candidate. I am an advocate for children because I have little kids, and most of my support comes from parents with little kids. I'm also a steward of the taxpayers. I pay a lot of them myself, double and triple compared to some of the other board members, and I'm okay with that. So just because someone pays a lot of taxes doesn't mean that there's a problem with it. And it's kind of funny because as I went door to door and talked to people, they said, I'm concerned about the taxes, and I heard that you were going to raise them 14 to 20%, and I laughed. I said, well, I would be raising my own taxes 14 to 20%, and I really don't want to do that. I don't think that we have to raise taxes through the roof in order to be advocates for the children. So I think I'm very balanced, and I think my supporters are very balanced. We're all mindful. And I'm a business owner, so I get it. All of my money is vested heavily into the community, so I think that makes me very qualified in running for the Board of Education. And my supporters are sitting out there, so thank you very much for coming and giving me a smile.
As far as my support group, that's my family. Whether community members feel that I'm all for education or all for finances, or as you know, some people like to continue on thinking that I'm all just about football. I started off with football, and I gathered a lot of supporters in the community because of the football issue. I won't go into it because you know what, right now we need to focus on the meat and potatoes of our district rather than the icing. I've made that public statement a number of times and I'll make it again. I don't anticipate football being in our district, unfortunately, breaks my heart to say it, within the next 5 years. What I do say as a support group is I've brought up a number of different financial transgressions in the district, and I've participated in some of them. Now, granted, some of the intentions of those actions were highly, highly valuable. I agree with them 100%, but you've got to do it legally. So, support group financially, I would hope people realize that I brought out a number of that. Educationally, I've stood out in blizzards. I've stood out in picket lines. I've garnered photos opportunities when they were laying off teachers. Educationally, I'm all for the education first. It should be all of our philosophy first. I mean, it shouldn't be just a statement. It should be our actions. Prove it. Don't just say it. I think people have seen me and read me and heard me say it enough. So I hope I garner both support groups. I hope I get community support group.
My support group is my family and my friends. They are people who believe in what I stand for. They're people who believe in the educational system. And because my children have both graduated does not mean that I do not care about the children in this community. For 15 years, I've had children in the school system. And for many, many years, I've been very involved with the children and the education in our school system. I believe that I also have a lot of friends that are fiscally, financially concerned about what is going on. They want what's best for the students, but at a cost that everyone can afford. I believe that the young parents aren't just concerned about a building as much as they're concerned about being able to keep our teachers, whether or not the building is the elementary school, the middle school, or if we put them all in the high school. I believe they want to be here in our town with our teachers and the people that we have. I believe my support group believes the same thing, it has the same values as I do. We want our children here. We want to be able to afford them to have the best education and give them as many opportunities as possible.
My support group, that would have to be my family and friends and the hundreds of new people that I've met in such a short time in this district. Education has played a very important part of my life. My grandmother was a teacher, my mother's a teacher, my wife's a teacher. So I understand that aspect. I'm also a taxpayer, just like everybody else sitting here and everybody else in this community. The only thing that really bothers me is an education is something that we can give our children. It's a gift of education. It's something that everybody will carry through the rest of their lives. So I'm both. I have education and fiscal, and I support both. And there's a fine line between them, and we have to find that fine line, and we have to balance the two and make sure that everybody is represented. Thank you.
This is for everyone. Just before coming here, a neighbor told me her son will not be able to participate in an honors class in the high school for social studies. The teacher told him the class was not in the budget. If you were on the school board, would you vote against honors classes? Mr. Holland.
AP classes, you know what, that prepares our kids. That's a benefit to our education, the quality of education. It prepares them for college, and we all hope our kids go to college if that's what they choose to do. Anything that helps enhance the education and the process, I'm all for it. We need to, of course, look at how to afford it and everything, but you know what? The first question we need to ask is, do we want to enhance our kids' education? It's our job as Board of Education members, I feel. It's first philosophy, first tactic, first everything. How do we make it work? We listen to professionals, the teachers, the administration, the accountants, the superintendent. We take all their advice, we take the community input, find out what the community would be willing to support as far as enhancing our kids' education, because that investment, even if you don't have kids in school, that investment is in yourself also, your property values, your quality of life in town, your future doctors, your future medicine people, everything. The kids are our future. Why wouldn't anyone want to help enhance it with an AP class? If we can do it, let's do it.
Thank you. Mrs. Kenzie?
At the last board meeting, there was no AP classes being cut, so I'm a little confused as to why a child would come home and say that. They were cutting 3rd and 4th grade summer school programs. They did not cut any AP programs that I know of. I'm not sure as to why the child would be coming home and saying there was a program cut, so unless someone knows that there's new cuts that I'm not aware of.
Well, maybe if we can.
Can I just say one thing? Just to clarify the question was that the honors class is being cut so that they can keep the AP class. So in history, there's usually a Regents level, an honors class, and an AP class. Next year, the what the student is saying, the honors class is no longer going to be available in an effort to keep the AP class. So you are dropping a class.
So was the public informed of this at all? Because it was never listed as a class or any programs being cut.
That's what the question was, I'm just addressing what the question was specifically stating.
It sounds like Mr. Johnson would be able to clarify whether it was just saving classes? Anybody?
Did you go yet?
There's a social studies teacher position on that, in the 9.6
In the budget,
class.
so that's probably why it's why.
Teacher was cut.
So there's no one to teach the class.
A history teacher being cut.
Well, maybe there are other options. Maybe we can have an AP teacher teach that class for that student or for that whole class entirely, how many students there maybe need. Maybe there's a possible way of having some kind of video link with another school and have those students sit in a classroom and do a video link session with another school. I was not aware of an honor class in the high school. I didn't realize that we had 3 separate history classes, a regular, an honor, and an AP. But maybe it's an option to look into. Maybe we can look into it, doing a video lesson. Thank you.
I like your thinking, Mr. Thompson. Obviously, I would need more information on that area. My boys are little, so I don't have a lot of first-hand working knowledge as to what goes on in the high school. However, I know where I can get the information. And I most definitely would not just vote against AP classes because of having something against AP classes. Our goal is to benefit all the children of the district, and I think we need to do that in a fiscally responsible way. So we also need to get the input of the administrators who are responsible for coordinating the schedules, whether it's at the high school level, the middle school, or the elementary. And so I think we do need to have a variety. However, this is primary education, and AP classes are college credit. So that needs to be part of the decision that goes into the board meeting.